Welcome to Weird History Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Carter. In the late 18th century, a fashion trend swept across Europe with the force of a hurricane, captivating the hearts of aristocrats, influencers, and commoners alike. This was not just any trend, but one that would carve its name in the annals of history as a deadly enigma: the green dresses of the Victorian era. This seemingly innocuous trend, at its zenith, claimed thousands of lives. The culprit? A deadly pigment known as Scheele's green. At the heart of the tale is Carl Wilhelm Scheele, a Swedish chemist who in 1775 concocted a vibrant shade of green, later known as Scheele's green. The pigment, with its stunning vibrancy, was a sensation, especially in the fashion industry. From gowns to gloves and even wallpaper, Scheele's green was everywhere. But beneath this dazzling veneer was a silent killer, a deadly component: arsenic. Arsenic, a potent poison, was surprisingly an integral part of Scheele's green. The vibrancy of the color came at a horrifying price, slowly releasing toxic fumes into the air. Unbeknownst to the wearers, these garments were slowly poisoning them, leading to a myriad of health issues ranging from sores, nausea, and in severe cases, even death. However, the wearer was not the only victim. The manufacturing process of these garments was equally deadly. The workers, often young women and children, were exposed to the toxic pigment daily. Unprotected and uninformed, they inhaled the lethal fumes and even ingested the arsenic dust as they ate their meals amidst the green-dyed fabrics. Many of these workers suffered severe health issues, with several succumbing to the deadly poison. By the mid-19th century, the severity of the issue began to come to light. Notable figures like physician and pioneering health campaigner Dr. Alfred Swain Taylor started to raise alarm bells. He noted a common thread among his patients: the presence of green-dyed garments and wallpapers in their homes. However, his warnings largely fell on deaf ears. The allure of Scheele's green was too strong, too ingrained in societal norms to be easily dismissed. This fashion trend, with its deadly consequences, persisted until the late 19th century, when synthetic dyes began to replace the lethal Scheele's green. However, the legacy of this deadly trend remains, a chilling reminder of the lethal price of beauty and the power of societal norms. The green dresses of the Victorian era stand as a testament to a time when fashion, vanity, and ignorance combined to create a deadly trend that claimed thousands of lives. The Victorian era was a time of beauty, elegance, and deadly fashion. The allure of Scheele's green was irresistible, a symbol of prosperity and refinement that permeated every aspect of society. The pigment, a deadly concoction of copper arsenite, was not just confined to garments. It made its way into household items such as candles, toys, and even confectionery. Indeed, the reach of this lethal trend was far and wide. Imagine a Victorian parlor, the heart of social gatherings, bedecked in green wallpaper, green upholstery, and even green curtains. As the candles burn, they release poisonous fumes into the air. The walls of the rooms slowly exhale arsenic, and the very fabric of the furniture becomes a silent assassin. This seemingly innocuous setting, a symbol of affluence and sophistication, was in reality a death chamber. Children, innocent victims of this deadly trend, were particularly susceptible. They played with green toys, slept in rooms with green wallpapers, and even ate candies wrapped in green paper. The result was devastating. Thousands of children fell ill, with symptoms ranging from chronic nausea to debilitating neuralgia. Many did not survive. Perhaps the most shocking aspect of this deadly trend was the widespread denial and ignorance. Despite mounting evidence and warnings from health professionals, manufacturers and consumers dismissed the concerns as fear-mongering. The fashion industry, driven by profits and consumer demand, continued to produce arsenic-infused garments and goods. This denial was not limited to the elite. Even the working class, despite the evident health risks, were drawn to the allure of Scheele's green. In 1862, Matilda Schurer, a flower maker, was found dead in her home. The autopsy revealed high levels of arsenic in her body, the result of years of inhaling and ingesting the lethal pigment. Her death sent shockwaves through society, a grim reminder of the deadly cost of beauty. Yet it was not enough to stem the tide of Scheele's green. The fashion industry, entrenched in its ways, was slow to change. Scheurer's death marked a turning point in the narrative, a sobering reality check that slowly started to permeate societal consciousness. The once coveted hue of Scheele's green began to lose its charm, its deadly secret too horrific to ignore. Yet it would take several more years, and countless more lives, before the deadly trend of Scheele's green was finally put to rest. From the ghastly tale of Scheele's green, we now move on to another peculiar episode in history, the story of the woman who gave birth to rabbits. In the early 18th century, a woman named Mary Toft, living in the English town of Godalming, stunned the medical community and the public alike with her extraordinary claim. In 1726, Mary Toft, a peasant woman, claimed to have given birth to a litter of rabbits. This outrageous occurrence, as one could imagine, sent shockwaves through society, catching the attention of prominent medical practitioners and even the court of King George I. The king, intrigued and baffled by the news, dispatched his own royal anatomist, Nathaniel St. Andre, to investigate the matter. St. Andre arrived in Godalming to find Toft in the throes of labor, surrounded by a gaggle of local medics and curious onlookers. After much pain and exertion, Toft again seemed to give birth to animal parts. St. Andre, astounded by the spectacle, sent a detailed account of the event to the king. He was convinced of Toft's authenticity, further fueling the public frenzy over the case. This episode, however, was far from a medical miracle. It was an elaborate deception, woven with the threads of desperate poverty and cunning opportunism. In fact, Toft had inserted the animal parts into her body, feigning labor pains to create a convincing performance. Her husband, a local journeyman, had provided the rabbits, which were then dissected and manipulated into believable shapes. The hoax was eventually discovered when Toft was closely observed in a London hospital. After a few days without any rabbit births, she finally confessed her deceit under the pressure of intense scrutiny and the threat of surgical examination. The case of Mary Toft, while seemingly absurd in retrospect, provides a fascinating insight into the social and scientific climate of the time. It reveals the lengths to which people were willing to go to escape poverty, as well as the readiness of society, including the medical community, to believe in the extraordinary, even when confronted with the implausible. Toft's story, a bizarre blend of human desperation and credulity, serves as a stark reminder of the complex relationship between truth and deception, belief and skepticism, and the enduring power of the extraordinary to captivate and confound. It's a tale that, despite its strangeness, holds a mirror to the human condition, reflecting our propensity to be both the deceived and the deceivers. In the midst of the 18th century, a time when science was just beginning to make headway, the case of Mary Toft exposed the limitations and vulnerabilities of the contemporary medical profession. The audacious hoax exploited the prevalent fascination with the extraordinary and the grotesque, a sentiment that pervaded the society of the time. Toft, a woman of humble origins, found herself at the center of a whirlwind of public fascination, scientific scrutiny, and royal intrigue. In the throes of her fabricated labor, she played the part of an unwilling participant in a surreal spectacle, a scene that was as captivating as it was repulsive. The rabbits that Toft supposedly gave birth to were not newborns. Instead, they were parts of animals, skillfully dissected and manipulated, creating a grotesque tableau of biological impossibility. These were not the fluffy, innocent creatures of storybooks. They were fragments of reality, twisted and contorted into a narrative that was simultaneously horrifying and fascinating. The rabbits, in their dissected form, were enough to convince a royal anatomist, Nathaniel St. Andre, of the authenticity of Toft's claims. This is perhaps the most shocking aspect of the entire saga. St. Andre was a man of science, appointed by the king's court to investigate this bizarre occurrence. Yet he too fell victim to the lure of the extraordinary, his judgment clouded by the spectacle before him. Toft's story is not simply one of deception. It is a story of desperation, of a woman driven to extreme measures in a bid to escape her life of poverty. It also lays bare the societal fascination with the grotesque and the extraordinary, a fascination that allowed such an audacious hoax to take root and flourish. The willingness of society, including the medical community, to believe Toft's claims raises questions about the role of skepticism and critical thinking. It highlights the ease with which truth can be obscured, and the power of the extraordinary to confound and captivate. In the end, Toft's story serves as a stark reminder of a time when the boundaries of science and belief were not yet clearly defined, when the extraordinary could still overshadow the plausible, and when a desperate woman and her rabbits could captivate a nation. Indeed, the tale of Mary Toft and her rabbit births remains one of the most bizarre and fascinating episodes in the annals of medical history. In a similar vein of the extraordinary captivating the masses, we venture to another event in history where the bizarre and the audacious intersect. This time, it's the tale of a woman who, armed with nothing but a broom, purportedly thwarted the might of the British Navy. It's a story that is as improbable as it is fascinating, and it underscores the power of human will and determination against seemingly insurmountable odds. Our protagonist is Grace Darling, the daughter of a lighthouse keeper who lived on the Farne Islands off the coast of Northumberland, England. The year was 1838, a time when the British Navy was considered one of the most powerful maritime forces in the world. But as we'll soon discover, even the greatest military might can be challenged by the unlikeliest of opponents. The tale begins with a storm. The waters around the Farne Islands were notorious for their treacherous currents and unpredictable weather. On the night of September 7th, the SS Forfarshire, a steamship carrying 62 passengers, was caught in a violent tempest. The ship crashed into the rocks, splitting in two. Half the ship sank immediately, taking with it a majority of the passengers and crew. The rest clung to the wreckage, stranded in the icy waters, their fate seemingly sealed. Yet, hope flickered on the horizon. Grace Darling and her father William spotted the wreckage from their lighthouse. Despite the violent storm and the dangers that lay ahead, they made the decision to embark on a rescue mission. Grace, with a broom as her only weapon against the raging seas, climbed into a small rowboat with her father and pushed off into the storm. One must imagine the scene: the tempestuous sea, the tiny boat bobbing like a cork, and a young woman with a broom battling the monstrous waves. It's a testament to Grace's courage and tenacity that she and her father managed to reach the wreck and rescue 9 survivors, rowing them back to the lighthouse where they provided shelter and care. The British Navy, with all its might and resources, was unable to navigate the treacherous waters that night. Yet a woman armed with a broom and an indomitable spirit defied the odds and saved lives. The tale of Grace Darling's heroic rescue has been immortalized in poems and ballads, her name synonymous with courage and tenacity. It's a story that reminds us of the power of human spirit, and how sometimes the most extraordinary feats are achieved not by military might or technological prowess, but by the sheer determination and bravery of ordinary individuals. The tale of Grace Darling offers a stark contrast to the deception of Mary Toft. Yet both stories highlight the extraordinary in the face of ordinary, and the power such narratives hold over the collective imagination. As we delve deeper into this remarkable event, it's essential to understand the magnitude of Grace Darling's achievement. This was no ordinary storm that battered the Farne Islands that fateful night. It was a tempest of such ferocity that it made the seas impassable, even for the sophisticated and robust ships of the British Navy. The SS Forfarshire, a substantial steamship of its era, was ripped apart by the storm's fury. Yet in the face of this cataclysm, a woman with a broom dared to challenge the sea's wrath. The broom that Grace wielded was not a weapon in the conventional sense, but it became a symbol of defiance against the sea's fury. It was instrumental in keeping the rowboat steady, helping to navigate and maintain balance amidst the monstrous waves. This humble broom, an everyday household item, became a beacon of hope in the hands of Grace Darling. Grace's courage was equally matched by her physical strength and endurance. Battling the storm was not a task for the faint-hearted. It demanded sheer physical grit to row against the ferocious waves, the icy winds numbing the skin, the salt water stinging the eyes. Yet Grace did not falter. She persevered, her determination fueled by the desperate cries for help carried by the wind. The perilous journey to the wreck, the rescue of 9 survivors, and the arduous return to the lighthouse is a feat of heroic proportions. It's a tale of raw courage, of a woman pitting herself against the elements, putting her own life at risk to save others. It's a testament to human resilience and the indomitable spirit that can rise in the face of adversity. Yet this story is not just about the heroism of one woman. It's a stark reminder that the mightiest of navies, with all their technological prowess and military strength, were rendered helpless that night. The sophisticated ships, the experienced crew, the cutting-edge navigational tools, all were defeated by the power of nature. It was the courage and tenacity of a woman with a broom that triumphed where the Navy had failed, turning the tide in the face of overwhelming odds. The story of Grace Darling is more than just a tale of heroism. It's a narrative that challenges our perceptions of power and strength. It underscores the fact that courage and determination are not the exclusive domain of the powerful or the well-equipped. It's a reminder that even in the face of insurmountable odds, the human spirit can triumph, armed with nothing more than a broom and an unyielding resolve. As we delve deeper into the annals of history, let's turn our attention to the grandeur of ancient Rome, a civilization known for its remarkable engineering achievements. Among these, a feat that stands out is the creation of a building material that has withstood the test of time and the elements: the Roman concrete. This material, used in constructing some of the most iconic structures of the ancient world, has not only endured over 2 millennia, but has in many ways proven superior to modern concrete. Ancient Roman concrete is a marvel, a testament to the ingenuity and foresight of Roman engineers. It was a mixture of volcanic ash, lime, seawater, and pieces of volcanic rock. The Romans discovered that this concoction, when used in marine concrete, resulted in a chemical reaction that strengthened the structures and made them resistant to erosion. This fascinating discovery was purely accidental, a byproduct of the Romans' vast experience in construction. What's truly shocking is how this ancient technique surpasses modern methods. Roman concrete structures have survived for over 2,000 years, their durability far outstripping the 50 to 100-year lifespan of the average modern concrete building. Structures like the Pantheon, with its majestic dome, and the Colosseum, the massive amphitheater that was the heart of Roman public life, still stand proudly, bearing witness to the ingenuity of their creators. But the most astounding aspect of Roman concrete is how it reacts with seawater. Unlike modern concrete, which weakens and crumbles under the relentless assault of saltwater, Roman concrete grows stronger. The seawater triggers a chemical reaction in the material, leading to the growth of rare minerals that reinforce and solidify the concrete. This remarkable feature explains why so many Roman marine structures like the Portus Julius Harbor are still intact today. It's not just the resilience of Roman concrete that is impressive. Its production was also far more environmentally friendly than modern methods. The production of modern concrete is responsible for approximately 7% of global carbon dioxide emissions, making it a significant contributor to climate change. In contrast, the process of making Roman concrete released less carbon dioxide due to lower firing temperatures and the use of plentiful, locally sourced materials. The ancient Romans, without the help of modern technology or understanding of chemical reactions, managed to create a sustainable, robust, and long-lasting building material. Their concrete, a seemingly simple mixture of ash, lime, and seawater, has outlasted empires, withstood the elements, and continues to confound and inspire modern engineers. It's a testament to the enduring genius of Roman engineering, a marvel that serves as both a reminder of our past and a challenge for our future. This astonishing durability of Roman concrete is not just a feat of ancient engineering, but also a mystery that modern scientists have been striving to unravel. The secret lies in the unusual ingredients used in its creation. While modern concrete is made using a combination of cement, sand, and water, the Romans used volcanic ash, lime, and seawater, resulting in a concoction that was not only stronger, but also more resistant to the elements. In a stunning twist of serendipity, the ancient Romans stumbled upon one of the most significant secrets of their concrete's strength: volcanic ash. The high silica content in this ash reacts with lime and seawater to create a rare mineral known as tobermorite. This mineral, once formed, continues to grow over centuries, filling up cracks and reinforcing the concrete. In contrast, our modern concrete weakens over time, especially in marine environments where the saltwater corrodes the steel reinforcements that we use. The Romans' ability to harness this naturally occurring geologic process is nothing short of extraordinary, especially considering they lacked any formal understanding of chemistry. The result was a substance that could survive the ravages of time and the relentless onslaught of the elements. But the fascination with Roman concrete does not stop at its ingredients. The method of its application was equally ingenious. The Romans used a technique called opus cementitium, a process that involved layering the concrete in such a way as to maximize its strength. They would pour the wet, ash-infused mix into wooden molds, building it up layer by layer, similar to a lasagna. This method allowed the concrete to set uniformly and increase its overall resilience. Moreover, the Romans' architectural prowess allowed them to craft structures with thinner walls that were nonetheless incredibly robust. This not only saved on materials, but also made their buildings lighter and less prone to collapse. They were, in essence, the pioneers of sustainable construction techniques, long before such concepts became buzzwords in the modern architectural world. It is a profound paradox that, despite our advances in engineering and construction technology, we are still striving to match the achievements of a civilization that existed over 2 millennia ago. The sheer resilience of Roman concrete, its ability to withstand the test of time in a way that modern concrete cannot, serves as a humbling reminder of the ingenuity of our ancestors. It's a testament to the timeless prowess of Roman engineering, a legacy etched in stone and standing tall amidst the passage of centuries. In the mid-19th century, a phenomenon emerged that sent shockwaves through society, causing panic and fear on an unprecedented scale. It began with a dress, a stunning emerald green gown that was the height of fashion at the time. But this dress was not merely a statement of style or status. It was a silent killer, its vibrant hue derived from a lethal ingredient: arsenic. The use of arsenic in the production of pigments was not a new practice. The element had been used for centuries to produce vibrant hues in everything from wallpapers to paints. But in the 19th century, a new method of production allowed for the creation of a strikingly bright shade of green. This became known as Sheila's green or Paris green and was soon used extensively in textiles, including dresses. The danger lay in the fact that arsenic, when exposed to damp or in close contact with the skin, could produce a poisonous gas. Wearing a dress dyed with this pigment, particularly in the humid environment of a packed ballroom or theater, could result in the wearer inhaling or absorbing the lethal toxin through their skin. The effects were devastating, with symptoms ranging from nausea and vomiting to convulsions, and in the worst cases, death. The first recorded case of arsenic poisoning by dress hit the headlines in 1861. A 19-year-old artificial flower maker named Matilda Schurer died a painful death after being exposed to arsenic in the green leaves she was producing for fashionable hats. This sparked an outcry, leading to investigations and the gradual realization of the dangers posed by the fashionable green trend. But the panic did not stop with the dresses. The vibrant green pigment had permeated every corner of Victorian society, from wallpapers to candles, toys, and even food. The public uproar reached a fever pitch, with newspapers dubbing it the arsenic panic of the 19th century. The authorities were slow to respond, partly because the science of toxicology was still in its infancy. However, the weight of public opinion eventually forced the industry to change, and by the late 19th century, arsenic was phased out of most consumer products. The poison dress phenomenon is a chilling example of the dangers lurking behind the facade of beauty and fashion. It serves as a stark reminder of the risks posed by unregulated industries and the potential harm that can be done when aesthetic appeal outweighs health considerations. The story of the arsenic-laden dress is not merely a morbid curiosity from history, but a cautionary tale of the deadly interplay between fashion, industry, and toxic substances. The details of the poison dress panic are as harrowing as they are fascinating. At the height of the crisis, reports of arsenic-related illnesses and deaths were a daily occurrence in the newspapers. The public, consumed with fear, clamored for answers and action. The fashion industry, meanwhile, initially denied any responsibility, leading to a tense standoff between those who produced the deadly garments and those who wore them. Perhaps one of the most shocking aspects of this historical event was the lack of regulation in the textile industry. Manufacturers were free to use any materials or methods they deemed fit, with little to no oversight. This laissez-faire attitude towards industry practices was not unique to the Victorian era, but the poison dress crisis underscored the deadly consequences of such a lackadaisical approach. Medical professionals of the time were also grappling with the crisis. The symptoms of arsenic poisoning mimicked those of many common diseases, making accurate diagnosis a challenge. Furthermore, the science of toxicology was still in its nascent stages, and many doctors were unprepared to deal with the wave of poisonings. But perhaps the most chilling aspect of this event was the role of societal norms and expectations. The desire for vibrant, eye-catching colors, particularly the fashionable Paris green, overrode any concerns about safety. The allure of standing out in a crowd, of being at the height of fashion, proved a powerful motivator, even in the face of mounting evidence about the dangers of arsenic-laden clothing. The poison dress crisis eventually led to significant changes in both industry practices and consumer attitudes. The fear of being poisoned by a garment was so profound that it spurred a shift away from artificial dyes and towards natural ones. This, in turn, sparked a new wave of innovation in the textile industry, as manufacturers scrambled to find safe alternatives to the deadly pigments they had once relied on. The poison dress panic is a stark reminder of the potential dangers lurking in the most benign of places. It serves as a poignant illustration of the interplay between fashion, industry, and public health, a dynamic that remains relevant to this day. It is a testament to the human capacity for denial in the face of clear and present danger, but also our ability to adapt and change when confronted with incontrovertible evidence. As we look back on this chapter of history, we are reminded of the far-reaching implications of our choices and the importance of prioritizing health and safety over fleeting aesthetics. Thanks for listening. This has been another episode of Weird History Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to Weird History Podcast on Spotify. Subscribe now.